1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. What's the crack, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my June book haul. So in June I bought a grand total of 15 books and one extra because it's on pre-order, but it's not going to be released until August. So technically it counts, I think. It's just I don't have it physically here and it's not going to be here for another 2 months. Let's get into the books! I'm just going to get 3 out of the way because they are different editions of books that I already have because they were just too pretty to resist. So the first one is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy. Catching Fire was my favorite out of the Hunger Games trilogy, and it was the one that I was most anticipating when it was being turned into a movie. And just this, I saw in Waterstones and I just could not resist it, and I tried to talk myself out of it. I tried to, but it's just so gorgeous. And I already love the edition that I have. It is beautiful. It's one of the best covers of that book that I've ever seen. But this one, oh my goodness. If I had have seen The Hunger Games and Mockingjay in the same thing, I probably would have rebought the entire trilogy. And just on the back, remember who the real enemy is. And then I got 2 of the 20th anniversary editions of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The first one I picked up was Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone in the Ravenclaw hardback edition. It is just gorgeous. I am Ravenclaw. I was sorted into Ravenclaw in Pottermore and I didn't even have to cheat to try and get into Ravenclaw, which is why I'm probably part Slytherin too. It's just beautiful. It's blue. My favorite color is blue, and it has the scarf edges down the side, and then on the inside it has like extra information on Ravenclaw. I haven't read that just yet. And then I just picked up the Slytherin one in the paperback. It has the extra information in the front as well, and its edges are just green. It's not in the scarf emblem or anything, it's just pure green. And now I have 4 editions of the Philosopher's Stone. So getting into the books that aren't other editions of books that I already have, I picked up the next 2 books in the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. This one was an offer in Tesco's, and then I just got this one in Waterstones when I found it. This one was impossible to get for a while, and then the same with A Court of Thorns and Roses. That was impossible to get when this one came out because I think everybody wanted to start reading it, and so it was impossible to find A Court of Thorns and Roses. And then it was impossible to find this one once I got A Court of Thorns and Roses finished. So I think somebody in Belfast is reading alongside me, but I beat you to this one because I got this one first, which meant I had to get this one. So they just follow on where A Court of Thorns and Roses left off. This is more of a Persephone retelling. Persephone is the wife of Hades in Greek mythology, and she went to him for half of the year. So you can obviously tell what's going on in Court of Mist and Fury if she's going to be Persephone. And I have no idea what happens in this one because I haven't read this one, and I'm not going to read the back of this one until I've read this one, which might be a while. Like, none of these are in the order that I bought them, it's just the way that I'm picking them off the floor. And I also got Hunted by Megan Spooner, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling where the beauty is deadlier than the beast. I love that idea. Sorry, the bless you made my ISO go a bit weird because I have it on auto. Yeah, I'm very excited about reading this. I have no idea really what happens in it either. All I know is that it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm sorry, but the hardback is just ugly when it's naked, so like I think this might be the first hardback book I might read with the dust jacket on it. I also picked up Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll in June. I read Heartless by Marissa Meyer at the start of June. I wanted to see how closely it followed Alice's Adventures in Wonderland so that it would just segue nicely into it. And I never read this before. I know that's sacrilegious, but I just picked up this edition from Waterstones. It is beautiful. I had plenty to choose from, let me tell you. I just love this one the most. It is just gorgeous, and it's hardback, and on the inside it has the original John Tenney illustrations that are just fabulous. I love them. I picked up another version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach. We have a version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in the house somewhere, and it was my brother's, which I stole. So I just saw this on offer. There was 2 for £7, so I picked up these 2. And I wanted to reread Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because I have no idea where that book is, and it's one of my favorites by Roald Dahl, and I think it's a favorite of a lot of people. And then I also picked up James and the Giant Peach. I also have an edition of this somewhere as well. I'd never read James and the Giant Peach. I started it when I was younger, but I never finished it. Here's hoping a second time round will get me through it. In June, I also picked up Daughter of the Pirate by Trisha Levenseller. This is all about a pirate captain, Alosa, who is on a mission to find this map that is the key to finding a legendary treasure. But in order to find this map, she allows herself to be deliberately captured by the enemy, thus allowing herself the perfect opportunity to search their ship because she thinks that they have this map, and so the adventure takes on from there. I have heard so much about this book, and I don't think a lot of people have actually talked about it after they finished it. It's all that they're wanting to read it too, because it pretty much just sounds amazing, and the blurb is like, readers rejoice because we now have a Lady Jack Sparrow on our hands. That sounds so intriguing, and I'm hoping that this will deliver. And this one isn't possible to get in Northern Ireland. I had to get this off of eBay. I don't know why I'm doing that with it. I also picked up The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. This was not the book cover that I wanted. I wanted the US one, but this is the UK edition. This is not as anywhere near as enticing as the other one. If I hadn't known about the other book cover or about The Bear and the Nightingale anyway, I probably would not have picked this up because it looks more contemporary than it is fantastical, which is what it is. It's based on a Russian fairy tale. I have no idea how to try and summarize this to you, but it's basically this father is given this precious jewel on a necklace that is intended for his daughter, but he's uncertain of what it means, and so he hides it away from his daughter, but she grows up to be this willful, playful child, much to the horror of her family. But then when she grows up, like, mysterious forces threaten their village, and so the girl discovers that armed only with this necklace that she can keep the darkness at bay. It just sounds so fascinating, but it's just this book cover. Like, honestly, from this book cover, would you guess that that is what's going to happen in this book, that it's about a Russian fairy tale and that this necklace, this precious jewel, can stop darkness swallowing this village up? No. The US one is far better. I just don't get it. I love every book cover from a design perspective anyway, but it's just like, I just don't know. And I just laugh at this. Is so colorful, right? And the tagline is "Beware the evil in the woods." This does not make any sense to me whatsoever. Early in June, I picked up A Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein, Vine, whatever way you want to pronounce it. This is a historical fiction set in World War II about two girls, Verity and Maddie, and they are part of the war effort at home, but their spy plane crashes in Nazi-occupied France, and it takes their story from there. This story is told in two parts. The first part is from Verity's perspective, and the second part is from Maddie's perspective, and I've already read this. I read it just there at the end of June. I bought it earlier in June, and so I just finished reading it. I absolutely love this. I love the dual perspective. I love the writing style. The writing style of both characters is just different. You just know that there are different voices speaking to you, and I love the characters themselves. I love Verity. I love Maddie. They're both great characters, and at times you're like wondering, okay, do I like them? Do I not like them? Am I supposed to be inspired by them? Am I not inspired by them? And it really gives a different perspective on World War II. Like, World War II is largely told from a male perspective. This is where you discover that women have a greater role than what is told in films and movies. Films and movies, like, women are nurses, women are mothers, women are ones taking in evacuees, but in this one, women are translators, women are interrogators, women are pilots, and women are resistance fighters. Women are fighters, they're soldiers, and you learn that they are in the trenches as well. They're not maybe like physically in the trenches, but they are fighting, they are getting hurt, they are being harmed, they are flying, they are fighting and engaging in war. They are doing their part as well, and I love this book. And the fact is, Elizabeth does not hold back on anything. There are parts where you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe that actually happened. Like, there are parts where, like, this book actually make my throat close up. You know, I felt like I needed to turn away a number of times when reading this book, because it was just so visual and so visceral and just so stunning and astonishing, and I just absolutely love this. I would recommend it to anybody. Haul and review, all in one. Last 3 books, I promise. I went to Waterstones and Eason's in Belfast looking for a particular book, because I thought this was going to be the book that would introduce me to this author, because I had heard about it and I loved the premise of it. It sounded like a retelling of Sanctuary to me. Like, I know Sanctuary is a TV show, but it sounded so much like it. but I couldn't find it, so I ended up just picking up A Darkest Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in, I can't remember the series title. It involves a character, Kel, who is one of the last travelers and a magician with a rare ability to travel between parallel universes connected by one magical city. London. There's Grey London, Red London, White London, and there once was a Black London. This sounds amazing. I've heard so many people talk about this. I've heard so many people rave about this book and just like recommend it over and over and over again. I have been hearing all about this since I discovered BookTube in April. I've been wanting to pick this up. I've been putting off picking it up for some reason. I'm very excited to start reading this. I don't know when I'll get to it, but knowing me, it'll probably be pretty soon. At first I wasn't in love with this book cover. I prefer the US one, but just looking at it is a bit more up close. I love it because you can see the versions of London here. You've got grey, red, white, and black. Fabulous. Last two. I thought I was going to put this off for a little bit longer, but I was in Waterstones and I just could not resist it, and that is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. In May I read Shadow and Bone, which is the first book in this Grisha trilogy, and I loved it. Oh my goodness, I absolutely loved it. And the way that it ended, I thought I was going to be instantly diving into Siege and Storm, but I kind of wanted to put it off a little bit longer, maybe to later in the summer. Maybe I would have wanted to take this on holiday with me in August and get it then, but no. I ended up picking it up earlier this week when I was up in Belfast, and I am weak because every time I go into Waterstones I feel like I cannot walk back out without getting something, and so I got Siege and Storm, which picks up where Shadow and Bone left off, and I cannot wait to dive into this. Haven't even read the back. I don't want to be spoiled, but yeah. Second book in the Grisha trilogy. And the last book for this June book haul was 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston. I have heard about this on Helium Bookland's channel, but it's a retelling of 1001 Nights. And this king takes a brand new bride every single night, but in the morning she's dead. Except for this girl who entices him, who intrigues him enough to survive night after night after night. I've never heard anything about 1001 Nights. I don't know anything, so I just picked this up because it just looks beautiful. It was just screaming to me. It's blue. I can't resist blue. It's my favorite color. I can't resist blue at all, as you can probably tell by a number of the blue books in this haul. And I could have picked up a lot more, except for the fact that Court of Mist and Fury and the Ravenclaw ones are at the bottom of the pile that is currently in front of me. This just seems like a good read. It sounds intriguing. I think I'd probably take this one on holiday with me, because can you imagine reading this on deck, having this beautiful book in front of you? Just imagine I'm reading away, and somebody just walks past and sees this beautiful book. Oh, what are you reading? It's 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston, which is like a retelling of 1001 Nights. Oh, what's that about? Well, I'll tell you. And you start a conversation. I just pretty much told you the plot of Royal Crack, which is a kind of series that Royal Caribbean do with a couple of YouTubers. I just pretty much reenacted that for you. Just me, myself, and I. So those are all the books that I got in June, and I got a couple of bookish cool things as well. So I got 3 magnetic bookmarks. I've been looking for the perfect magnetic bookmark. Why do I keep wanting to say metallic? You're a dumbass. Okay, point taken. I find this Etsy shop online and I got 3 from her. I got this, which is a Ravenclaw magnetic bookmark. It's just beautiful. So it's got Ravenclaw on the front and just this blank one on the back. I got Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. She's just so cute. And Melisandre from A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. And she is my favorite character from A Song of Ice and Fire. I know that's probably surprising, but you know, when she's up here in my Pop Funkos. Spoiler alert for the next installment of my Pop Funko collection. Well, I will have the Etsy shop that I bought them off down below. And then the pièce de résistance. My favorite thing ever from this book haul. And I saw it in Waterstones and I had to have it. I didn't care how much it cost, I had to have it. It's a tote bag from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Oh my goodness, I love it. Like, just look at it. The material is so sturdy, it's unbelievable. And it has the photo, which is on the first book, and oh my goodness, I love it. And if you didn't know, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children is my favorite book. And on the back it just says, "This pack is for peculiar children." I love it. Best purchase ever. And after I bought it and I was walking around Belfast, so many people complimented me on that. They were like, "Oh my god, your bag's so cool, where'd you get it?" Waterstones, this was Fergus Over Peculiar Children, that's my favorite book. So that wraps up this video, guys. These are all the books and bookish things that I bought in June. I know it's a bit excessive, but everybody's gotta have a hobby, right? Let me know what books you got in June and what you're excited to read in July. Or if you've read any of these books that I've got, or you're wanting to read any of these books I got, let me know in the comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!